Hi, welcome back to the Montana Real Estate Channel. Today we're out between Billings, Montana and Red Lodge, Montana. And if this is the first time to the channel, you'll want to hit that button, that logo down there on the right hand side of your screen, and subscribe so that you're notified whenever we do a new video on a community somewhere in Montana. Now this is very definitely rural Montana between Billings and Red Lodge, and we're going to go out here and take a look at some price points and some real estate around the area in Joliet and Roberts, also Rockvale. Hi, I'm Craig Cyphers. I'm with the Montana Real Estate Channel, brought to you by the Cyphers Family Real Estate. You know, we've been helping folks in Montana all over the state since 1966. We get emails, texts, and phone calls almost every day from folks just like yourself, and all the information you need to get a hold of us is in the description down below. So let's go out and check out Joliet and Roberts, and on our way to Red Lodge.
So let's show you where we're at. Here's Joliet right here, and here's Roberts right here. This is all on US Route 212. That's between Billings and Red Lodge. And here we are in a location about 30 some miles south of Billings. And you can see they've been pumping some concrete over there. And we're going to see this house right here. This house was built in 2017. It's about 4,500 square feet on 10 acres. And this particular property abuts to Rock Creek, which is right here. So this is in Carbon County. And we'll take a little drive out here. This is all rural property. There's a 40-acre parcel right here to the right. And so this is all outside of Joliet, Montana. There's our farm ranch house there on 40 acres. Just recently in this neighborhood, there was a home that sold that almost backed up to Rock Creek. It was also built in 2017. It was a 2-bed, 1-bath, just 800 square feet. It sold for $475,000. Now here we are going south on US Route 212, and we'll go up and check out a subdivision here. Now we're just going to come off from 212 and quickly drive up here and check out what's called the Grill subdivision. Now in this subdivision, the tracts are about 5-acre tracts. The homes have been built here over the last 30 years or so, and you can see some of them have larger outbuildings, and some also have some really nice views of the valley down below. Recently there was a home that sold in here on 5-acre parcel built in 1997, full walkout basement that was finished. It featured 5 bedrooms, 3 baths, and 3,432 square feet, and it sold for $740,000. Now you can see these beautiful views. You can see the Beartooth Mountains in the way background, and you'll see these little barrels on the side of the road. That's for sand. Roads could get a little icy. You might have to throw a little sand on them, and so there's a barrel of sand there. And so here we're going into Joliet itself. I think I may have mentioned that Joliet is in Carbon County. Carbon County county seat is Red Lodge, and Joliet actually is part of the Billings metropolitan statistical area. And the population as of the 2020 census was 577 people. And the construction of the Rocky Fork and Cook City Railway in 1892 made Joliet a shipping point. And then the Joliet Post Office was established back in June 10, 1893, and Maud Smith was its first postmaster. Town was named after Joliet, Illinois. Now, this building right there that you see on the left is the home of Jane Doe's Pizza, and it was built in 1910. Here we are traveling north on North Park Street towards the Joliet schools. And The Jayhawks of Joliet consist of an elementary K through 5, fifth graders. There are 175 students in the elementary. The student to teacher ratio is 13-1. The middle school is grades 6 through 8, and there are 95 students. And the student to teacher ratio is 14-1. And Joliet High School is grades 9 through 12, and there are 139 students with a student to teacher ratio of 13-1. There's a real mix of housing in Joliet, as you might guess. Homes built from 1925, 1961. We'll even see some new builds here. In this portion of town, there was a home recently that sold, and it was just about 992 square feet. It was a 2-bed, 1-bath home that was built in 1925. It sold for $220,000. So we'll just drive around here in Joliet and take a look at some of the homes. Again, really, of course, there's only 577 people in town, and we've got, I don't know, it looked like we had somewhere in the neighborhood of almost 300 plus students in school, but I'm sure they come from all across the area, not just in town, of course. But again, this is very rural Montana. You're about 30 some miles from Billings, and almost the same amount to Red Lodge, which is the county seat. So it sits out there pretty much on its own, aside from the fact that we do have Roberts just down the road. In fact, we're going to go out and take a look at Roberts and see what things look like in Roberts. But before we go over that direction, let's go on to the southeast part of town. There's some newer builds over in that direction. In fact, there was a home that recently sold over here that was built in 2020, and it was 1,800 square feet. It had 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, and that home sold for $370,000. So that was a fairly decent buy, and quite frankly, it's possible that into Laurel from Joliet, and fairly inexpensive housing all in all. So we took off the beaten path and headed out into the rural part of Carbon County here between Joliet and Roberts. It's beautiful country out here, particularly when we get down into a really nice creek bottom, and we'll see some great irrigation, some pivots, so really nice farm ground at the bottom of it. And when we get to the end of the road here, or at least what seems to be the end of the road, we're going to find some interesting irrigation facts that we're going to share with you. And in the meantime, just kind of enjoy this view as we drive along, and kind of speeded it up a little bit so you don't get too bored, but you get a good idea of how big this country is and why we call it the Big Sky. It really is quite terrific. And if you have any interest in this area, you think you might want to move into a tiny little town like this just to get away from it all the information to get a hold of us is in the description below. So reach out to us. We'd love to be able to help you, like to be a resource for you. If you're looking at Montana at all, give us a call. And you know, our family's been helping folks buy and sell real estate in Montana since 1966. So we want to be your trusted advisor for helping you out. So let's enjoy this view. So what you see in front of us is that irrigation project that I was telling you about. And we're going to go up here and take a look at it. Going to get out and give you a little scoop on what we're seeing. This is actually a dam that's in front of it. It's an earthen dam. This was something that was built with federal funds back in the 1930s. So we'll get up here and I'll give you a little bit of information about it.
Here we are. This is between Joliet and Roberts, and that is between Billings and Red Lodge, and we're at Cooney Reservoir. And Cooney Reservoir was completed in 1937. That was named for Governor Frank Cooney at the time, who had gotten some federal funding to do huge irrigation projects. And between this and another reservoir here in the area, there's about 20,000 acres that are irrigated under this dam project, reservoir project that was done in the 1930s. And there's in Cooney Reservoir, there's about 28,000 acre feet of water. The dam itself is 102 feet high, and this is just one of the recreational areas that you can enjoy, and it also provides incredible irrigation for the agricultural community here in this particular area.
And in addition to Cooney Reservoir and the fine fishing up there, you also have the opportunity to, in the public lands, to bag a mule deer in the area, or you can get some permission from some of the landowners. But there's plenty of recreation to be had, and we're also very close to Red Lodge Mountain ski area as well. So we've got a gravel road between here and Roberts, and we'll take a look at the scenery as we go along. I wanted to stop on the road to Roberts and give you a panoramic view of the most incredible mountain range, certainly in Montana. This is the Beartooth, and right there in the middle of your screen is Red Lodge Mountain. The snow is so good there that the Olympic ski team has, certainly in the past, trained at Red Lodge in the summer months. And this is really the roof of Montana. All the major peaks are in the Beartooths, and if you ever have the opportunity, I highly recommend making the trip through Cook City on the Cook City Highway to the east entrance of Yellowstone National Park. You will not regret it. The highway goes up to an elevation of approximately 11,000 feet, and Montana's highest point, which is Granite Peak, is in the Beartooth Range. So if you have the opportunity, go visit Red Lodge, get up to Cook City. Regarding the real estate in the Roberts area, just below Cooney Dam, there was a property that sold for $1.75 million. It was on 42 acres. The home was built in 2009, featured 3 bedrooms, 3 baths, all in 3,596 square feet. It also had a 42 by 64 pole barn with a 12-foot lean-to on it. So an extensive property and taking advantage of the irrigation from Cooney Reservoir. So that's a little bit of the area between Joliet and Roberts. So let's go ahead and go down to Roberts itself and take a look at the thriving metropolis of Roberts. So here we are coming into Roberts, and there's our greeting sign, and then off to the left we'll see the Roberts football field as well as the school. And according to niche.com, the public schools go preschool through grade 12, and there are a total of 122 students with a teacher to student ratio of 8-to-1, which is almost one-on-one instruction. But what we're going to do is we're going to go up here and head into town to give you kind of a view of what's going on in Roberts, and head a little bit south up above Rock Creek, I believe it is. And Roberts is a census designated place. It's an unincorporated town in Carbon County. And as of 2010 census, the population was 361. In 2020, it was 304, so they've lost a little bit of population. Originally, it was named Merritt. Roberts began as a Northern Pacific Railroad siding in 1893, and the town was platted in 1902. So again, it's to the railroad. So we're going to pop up here on the bench and take a look at some of the property up above. We're actually going to go east on Carbon Avenue across Rock Creek and get up on top of the bench. That way we can look down into Roberts from this elevated location. And there are some new homes up here on the top. We have the creek up here is called Clear Creek. And there you can see the Beartooth Mountains in the distance. And up above there are properties that are on larger tracts of land, and they vary in size. But there are some newer homes up here. In fact, just a little further on the Clear Creek Road, there was a home that just recently sold in this area that had 118 acres. The house was actually built in 1995. It also had a guest home built at the same time. That home was a 3-bedroom, 3-bath. It had 3,000 square feet, 118 acres. The guest house was just 320 square feet. So relatively new up there, and you could see that there was some new construction when we drove up along the bench here in Roberts. So what we're going to do now is we're just going to take a quick trip back through town. Of course, Roberts not terribly big, not a lot of residences, but we wanted to give you a good overview of what you can expect in this area between Billings and Red Lodge. And so when we get back into town, you've obviously got a mix of properties. You've got stick frame homes, you've got manufactured homes, and so it is often common with smaller towns. So, but this home right there in front of us with the blue trim, that home, I want to just give you an idea. That was on 1/3 of an acre, 1,280 square feet, 2-bed, 1.5 baths, and it was built in 1930, and it's assessed at $337,000. And here is the United Methodist Church in Roberts. And now what we're going to do is we're going to go down and put ourselves back on US Route 212 and head just about 13 miles to one of the United States' greatest ski towns. So we're not far from a wonderful resort, and we hope you've enjoyed this video on the Joliet and Roberts area. Please tap that logo down there on the lower right-hand side and subscribe so that you can be notified whenever we come out with a new video on communities in Western Montana. Thanks for watching. This has been Craig Cyphers with the Cyphers family, sponsoring the Montana Real Estate Channel. We'll look forward to seeing you on our next video.